Khenpo just mentioned that I often go to many places. To be honest, it is a quite personal manner, and also the way that my master have taught me to practice. I originally chose to stay at a Buddhist academy, and my master teacher intended to train me to be a dean, while later I realized that this wouldn't help me very much. Then my master offered the second approach, is establishing the right view of Buddhism without regressing. And once you have the correct understanding, then you need to go into the world and experience it. So he asked me to go to different places. He said, I can go all over the world, and for everything, do it about 2 years until I reach a core point where I couldn't go on. As if I keep doing, he said, he was afraid I would become attached. I think over these years, I've probably been traveling for about 25 years. I feel I don't expect that everyone to do the same, because if you go out and can't handle the temptations, then you might fall back right away. And that's the end of it. Maybe it's my own personal karma. I have to face these very painful things. It's like the book authored by Khenpo Sodargye. It takes suffering a start. I think both Mahayana or Vajrayana, especially Vajrayana, emphasizes the transformation during the most painful situations, keeping mindful practice, and how to use adversity as a supportive condition and resource for our practice. Just like the issue of men and women that was mentioned earlier. My recent realization is, even though we're getting older now, when traveling out, among the followers, including the women, they might try many ways to flirt with you. Hello, hello. But it's not their fault. It's their habitual tendencies. How do I deal with it? I've recently come to understand Buddha taught this best. You must regard her as your own mother. How can this mother be only in her 20s? You can't regard her as a girl. She is your mother. So now I feel that the difference between a mother and a lover happens in just an instant. A beloved man or woman, father or mother. One thought separates Buddha demon. But if you never face this matter, you won't know whether you've truly practiced. So when you confront this matter, maintain mindfulness and pray for the Guru's blessing. Om Mani Padme Hum, and then truly treat her as a mother. We often say Zen is becoming familiar with the process. Tell yourself, she is mother and he is father, rather perceiving them through external appearances or gaze. I think it's about training yourself to practice until it becomes a habit. We have a mother as meditation's object, as in the 7-point cause and effect method, recognizing mother, honoring her kindness, cultivating compassion, dedicating aspirations to her. This is my current situation. For me, I make goals to ordain from childhood in my next life, and to study both Tibetan and Pali languages. But in this lifetime, I'm different from the Khenpo. I became a monk halfway through life. I only ordained at 35. I married, raised kids, and ran business. I've done both good and bad things. I just couldn't be like them, growing up in a good environment under the guidance of a teacher. Just like when they speak English, we sit there feeling inferior. Because our English isn't good, there's nothing we can do about it. But all we can do is face life as it is, with all its challenges, and approach Buddhism through diverse life experiences. It's like understanding the Dharma without separating from the suffering of sentient beings. And another thing, Mahayana Buddhism is about serving all sentient beings. I think Khenpo definitely has even deeper insights than I do. For example, organizing the large-scale symposium. Think about how many people are needed for this. We hope the people involved can accomplish this task. But this ability must not be separated from the fundamental principles of the Dharma. For example, ability should not surpass compassion. So my conclusion now is I rather have compassion than have abilities that exceed that scope. Because when your abilities go beyond that range, it could end up with harming Buddhism. But for someone practicing Mahayana Buddhism, especially Vajrayana, we can't always join blissful rituals of the Dharma. Returning to accomplish things, as Maitreya Bodhisattva said, if you don't know world, you aren't a Bodhisattva. If you can't accomplish things in the world, what we call action meditation. So even now, I'm still studying this. Many people know that I went to get close to the Karmapa. I feel that he is a young man organizing assemblies. I've looked into it. It's just himself doing it alone. I thought there would be a lot of important secretaries helping him, but there aren't. It's simply him standing there. The Dharma Symposium is huge, start to finish. Sound system, carpets, night while others sleep. He's working. Is this Buddha statue right? Is that sound system okay? That's when I realized, later I asked him, and he said yes. Teachings and realization, you've listened, contemplated, practiced, done retreats, but you have to actually apply them in order to really get things done well. He put on a Milarepa stage play. Script writing and directing were all done by him alone. He really had to spend a tremendous amount of time on it. He told me that he never attended a Buddhist institute in his life, but right now, he has no other choice either. He has to approach these things very seriously and make sure he really does them as perfectly as possible. There was another time when I was with him. He was writing a long life prayer for the Khenpo was in the middle of writing it. Sometimes, for the Chinese parts, he would ask me how to write certain things. It was like when Fei Wang took refuge, he asked, should it be subject or science? He would ask us about these things from time to time, but in this particular regard, on occasion, he couldn't do retreats or things like that the way they did, but he used worldly methods, dealing with complexity and such immense pressure. He said, one day I wanted to kill myself, but no, I can't die. And then at that time he said, when I wanted to commit suicide, I saw Shakyamuni Buddha, and then I felt at ease. What he meant was his practice. There was one time a monastic said to him, 3 years and 3 months retreat. He said, no need. Now just 2 months is really enough. The world is so full of suffering. Of course, I think if it were him, others might need to do a 3-year, 3-month retreat. For example, for me, 100,000 prostrations. I have much to do. I can't manage it. 1,000 prostrations will be fine. He adapts to each person's capacity. He said, you just can't do it, right? He devised another method. If you can't complete it, at least spend this month sincerely doing repentance. Simply put, in other words, different people require different approaches. I've also noticed, after being close to so many teachers, that everyone is in a state of learning as we don't know what the outcome will be. Truth is eternal, but how do we deal with this? It depends. We can't do anything about it. I want to seek advice from Khenpo Sodargye, as now you're a global figure, facing so many people, including those from the academy, society, and the followers. We have to demonstrate a lot of capabilities and to accomplish these Buddhist undertakings. How do you actually manage and handle all these matters? Let us learn from you.
Actually, to be honest, speaking for myself, I am indeed continually and consistently learning as well. Every day, whether I am at the Buddhist Academy or out, no matter where I am, my main focus is primarily to give Dharma teachings. Except for a very small amount of time, it is very rare for me to retreat at the monastery. I really want to go into retreat for a period of time, yet it seems I can't find the time. Maybe it's similar in some ways to the feeling of the master. To be honest, when I go out, as people of my age, have no interest in sightseeing or traveling. Being elsewhere is boring. Sometimes I don't have classes. My health often isn't good, but as long as I'm teaching, it seems like my body can always handle it. I don't know what kind of power this is. Every Sunday, on the day when there are no classes, my whole body aches. But then, starting Monday, my body recovers. For me personally, it really is the case that now for us, as Buddhists, it is very necessary in our daily lives to first start with our own learning, to understand the mindset of people all around the world and the state of society, including the changes currently happening in our society and the world today. Especially now with artificial intelligence, there are many unsafe factors. In the past, it used to take 1,000 years or about 500 years. It might take long for society to change, but now it could in some cases be just a few months or even just a few dozen days. And the entire way of life in the world has changed. At this time, we Buddhists, monastics, also need to give this some thought. If the world has changed and we are still just waiting by the tree for a rabbit, just staying put, then the world will no longer be the same. So we may need to integrate ourselves into society even more to understand this society, understand these phenomena. I personally believe this is very important. And in this process, as part of this process, the most crucial thing is for us to remain steady and composed. Whatever we do, we should always persist from beginning to end. Nowadays, many young people, when they win or try new things, they want creativity, they want a lot of things, but gradually, very few can truly persevere. As soon as they encounter some difficulties, they simply no longer want to move forward, and from then on, they give up forever. This is really not a good approach. Spiritual practice or dealing worldly matters, or even when we take on any project, we need a strong heart. When we have no other way out, we have to make a different choice. But before that situation, we must have a very truly firm resolve. A while ago at Mount Butaya, I said, as Buddhists, we should have a heart of service and attend to others in the future. I don't mean to take advantage of or dominate them, rather serve sentient beings, those from other faiths, as well as those without any belief, with a heart of service and devotion. We should approach things with humility, go about things with an open and humble mind. Like the Master mentioned, there may come a time when things may not go as planned. That's why we must keep adapting, constantly changing our methods. Otherwise, sometimes we face difficulties. Another thing I want to say is we need a strong heart to spread the Dharma and benefit beings. Masters in the past met challenges in Dharma teaching and being benefiting. As for Chinese Buddhist masters, I have read many histories about them. I also studied Indian and Tibetan Buddhist masters. In spreading the Dharma and benefiting beings, they all went through a lot of difficulties and hardship during their journey. If they are truly successful, they will remain strong. So in the face of everything, we should face this world with a strong and resilient heart. In fact, practitioners should be very joyful. If their minds attain inner freedom, then many external things which people consider suffering or difficulties may not even be regarded as anything significant by the practitioners.